previously on Gears.
All right, let's go down to Cape Town this afternoon, just before 1:45. And Happy New Year, first of all. Welcome, Steve Smith from the Red Bulletin. Are you well, my friend?
I'm very well. Sasha, how's it going with you?
Yeah, we're all terrific. Thank you. Compliments. Let's hope it's a great 2013. I was talking a couple minutes ago, Steve, before we talk about your interesting cars you've been driving, the Detroit Motor Show. There seems to be some exciting developments for 2013.
Yeah, there's been a couple of things I've been following. There's quite an interesting car from Toyota called the Furia, which I think is going to show us some new design directions for the brand. Which I think you probably would agree that it's something Toyota could seriously do with.
Yeah, listen, I do agree, although I think they're stepping in the right direction already with the 8.6, so, maybe they're pushing well.
Yeah, look, the 8.6 has been an exceptional car for them. I'm not really sure whether the other design stuff will follow. I've always thought that there's been a close correlation between Honda and Toyota over the years in terms of their styling. If you look back at, especially the Corolla kind of Civic range, and the new Furia. The new Furia looks, it's a good-looking car. It reminds me a lot of the current Honda, the new Hondas, the new Civic. So that's an interesting one for me. I don't know whether they share design teams or something, but they certainly keep a close eye on each other.
Yeah. They've just been such rivals over the years as well. Okay. Well, let's move on because I think the two cars you want to chat to us about today are two of my favorites for very bizarre and peculiar kind of reasons. So tell us when you had these. Have you had them over the summer break?
Yeah, I had them over December. General quite kind to lend me a couple of cars to drive. It's been an old school December, let's put it that way.
Yeah, muscle power in Cape Town.
Yeah, they're kind of dinosaurs in one way that you'd be looking at quite an old school engine. It's a big 6-liter V8. It's like big figures. We're talking 270 and 430 Newton meters of torque. But it's an old school pushrod V8, 2 valves per cylinder. It's just like a lot of grunt. I had the sedan first, which with an auto gearbox. What's interesting with these two cars is that the auto comes with a special engine management system. So at sort of low speed, below 110, it shuts down pretty much half cylinder. So
okay, yeah.
It's a little weird to step into this car with a massive wing and these huge tires, and you feel like this is kind of weird. It doesn't make all the right sounds.
Bizarre.
I mean, you're wanting something to like shudder and shake and shimmy and growl, and you want people to look at you, but it's kind of just tootles along until you put your foot down.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, there's just. I mean, now is that let's just get this correct. I mean, the Lumina SS, is this now the Australian designed Lumina?
This in Australia. This car is called the Holden Commodore SSV.
That's it.
It's basically the same thing. It's a change of part of the General Motors label. Obviously, they slap on a different badge, and it's a Chevolet here. It's a brilliant car. I mean, 6-speed manual gearbox. So that meant that all 270 kilowatts was available right from the get-go. And that car makes the right noises, let me tell you.
Listen, Steve, what the hell is a ute? We call it a bucky.
I know.
What the hell is a ute? Is it like a farm animal?
I'd love to know. I don't know. Maybe it's the car that the youth drive in Australia, and maybe it's part of their accent. This is the car for the ute. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of West Indian, Australian part of the marketing team there for General Motors. I don't know. It's a crazy name. It's a bucky.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. Listen, I got to tell you before you carry on, the Lumina SS has got to be one of the finest drifting cars. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's got so much power. Not the auto, of course, that you drove, but the manual. Wow, what a machine!
The cool thing about that is look, it's got a fairly old school engine. especially when you compare it to the V8s that the Germans are making these days. But the chassis and the handling is surprisingly sophisticated. It's got a great 50-50 weight distribution. So it means getting the tail out is not something that's going to spin around and slap you on the forehead quite quickly.
Yeah.
It gives you plenty of notice when those big 18-inch alloys are starting to let go. So it's completely manageable. I can't say that I haven't got the kind of sorrel van der Merwe driving skills that are going to make me hang the tail out all the time. But a couple of times where I did have a bit of a go, it really didn't scare me. You get cars like you probably driven that 370Z where grips like when let's go, boy, it's like being on ice. This is different. It's entirely manageable. Bloody thirsty though. Jeez.
Yeah, no. Well, it was 6 litre power. Listen, we've just been corrected. Stefan Miller, utility vehicle.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
I don't know where the utility part comes in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's what you carry your kind of track day superbike in the back to
then surely
what else?
Sorry, surely it should be called a UTEV.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still a stupid name. Now, listen, the crazy thing about it is you look back at South African motoring history, Steve. Back in the probably 70s or whatever, Sunny Sky, Chevrolet, everybody had a Chevy, Camaros, all of that kind of stuff. Why aren't we seeing more people now going back? I mean, that is a hell of a lot of car for the amount of money that you pay.
Yeah, it's old school in its engineering and attitude too. So for the price you're paying, and you're looking at, it's not cheap. For the sedan, you're looking at pretty much 500,000, 470 for the Ute. So it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for that kind of performance anywhere else with a V8, you're certainly going to pay a lot more. Interestingly, I actually used to own this car's like a spiritual predecessor, which is Ford Fairmont GT, which came out in sort of 70, 71, 72.
No way.
Also an Australian-sourced muscle car, which I sold a couple of years ago. But the same kind of thing, brute power, happy to step its arse out at the drop of a hat, pretty good value for money. I mean, those cars are highly collectible now.
Yeah,
but, it's basically the same kind of car. I love it. And it looks pretty cool inside too. That's the other thing where it's quite surprising. For the Ute and for the sedan, quite a sophisticated interior. And I mean, the reason I was driving these ones now is they've updated the interior, so there's kind of a new model, a new update. It's got a fantastic entertainment system. Outside of and VW and BMW, I haven't really enjoyed anyone else's touchscreen stuff, but this one really works really well. Got a USB port, works fantastically with my iPod. Great leather bucket seats, fantastic dual climate air conditioning system. It's a pretty impressive inside. Nice place to sit.
Yeah, I must say that sounds really, really refreshing. I'm glad to hear something like that, especially in that kind of a vehicle. But as you say, I suppose the negative of it, pretty heavy, even though it's got a tremendous amount of power, and thirsty. That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, I think outside of a sweaty Australian at the end of anything more thirstier than this. Whatever they do is cheap in Australia, but after a full day of it, you're going to be thirsty.
Yeah,
not thirsty as one of these guys.
I can well imagine. I think what you need to get hold of, because I saw one on the road the other day and I was super impressed by its looks. I've always liked it. You got to get the new Chrysler SRT8, the 300, Chrysler 300C, because that thing looks mean.
Look, I don't know. I think I prefer the generation before. I seem to smooth this one out a bit. Look, there's no doubt that SRT8 is going to shift.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on the styling. I quite like the sort of pimpy gangster vibe of the last car. This one's I don't know. It looks like it's got a bit of a smooth corporate suit on it.
I think I like this one, I must say. I had the previous one. I had the previous SRT8. You want to talk about thirsty? I eventually had to give it back to them because I couldn't afford the petrol.
And like when the engine idles, it makes those like little pop 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 noises. That's like a rand every time it does that.
Exactly, and it makes a lot of those.
Yeah, you can just see little rand notes or rand coins like going up the back of your car. That's why I sold that my Fairmont as well. The petrol was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Steve, it's great to catch up with you again, my friend. First weekend. Lastly, tell us what's next up in the Red Bulletin.
This issue's just come out. We've got a cool story on probably the greatest paddler in the world, South African Hank McGregor, who's won just about every type of paddling event you can do, from the doozy to ocean races to surf ski to marathon races. A very cool story on him with fantastic photographs by a guy called Chris Saunders, who's one of the top photographers, and also a little story on the Red Bull flip tag event that happened in December at the waterfront, where I don't know if you saw that, but I think the waterfront said there were 220,000 people there that day to watch it. And
amazing.
That's when people jump into the sea off a platform and try to fly. No one flies off.
Obviously, but it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Excellent, Steve. Look forward to seeing it. Look forward to catching up with you next week. Have a brilliant week.
Yeah, you too, Sasha.
All right, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Bye-bye. There we go, Steve Smith. Every Tuesday, right here, 1:45. You can hear him talking about cars and a whole lot of other cool stuff as well.
At the next intersection, turn on Gears with Sasha Martinengo. Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.